Caitlin Clark may not have said a single word about a problem with Stephanie White, but some fans believe her body language is speaking louder than words. And after another frustrating night for the Indiana Fever, that body language has sparked a huge debate. Is there really tension between Caitlin Clark and her head coach? Or are fans taking one emotional moment on the sidelines and turning it into something much bigger? Let's break down exactly what happened. Before we continue, make sure you watch until the end, because there is one important detail from the post-game press conference that has added even more fuel to this conversation. And if you're new here, hit that like button, share this video with another WNBA fan and subscribe for more Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever news. Now, here's what happened. During the game, Caitlin Clark was on the sideline when Stephanie White approached her to speak. Clark listened for a moment, but then appeared to turn away from her coach and walk back towards the bench. That small interaction immediately caught the attention of fans. And some viewers interpreted Clark's body language as frustration or a sign that she did not want to engage with her coach at that particular moment. But we need to be careful here. There is no confirmed evidence from this moment alone that Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White dislike each other, have a broken relationship or hate each other. Those are interpretations being made by commentators and fans. We simply cannot know what was said between them unless either Clark or White explains it publicly. However, the timing made the moment particularly interesting. Clark returned to the court and soon found herself involved in another attacking play as she looked at the clock and prepared to make her move. Some observers felt her body language suggested that she had already decided what she wanted to do. There have also been broader storylines surrounding the team that have kept Indiana under an enormous amount of national attention. And when a team receives this much attention, every facial expression, every conversation, and every disagreement can become a headline. But sometimes a heated moment is simply a heated moment. Basketball is emotional. Players get frustrated. Coaches speak to players. Players sometimes walk away because they need a moment to themselves. That doesn't automatically mean there is a locker room crisis. Still, there is another part of this story that deserves attention. After the game, Kelsey Mitchell and other Fever players appeared relaxed and even joked during the post-game media session. And some fans found that surprising considering Indiana had just lost. The reaction led to even more speculation about whether the players were genuinely frustrated behind the scenes or simply maintaining a professional attitude in front of the media. Again, we need to separate what we know from what people believe. What we know is that Indiana lost. What we know is that Kelsey Mitchell had an enormous offensive performance, scoring 37 points. What we know is that Caitlin Clark finished with a team-high 9 assists. And what we know is that the Fever had 9 turnovers as a team. That last number is particularly important because one of the post-game discussions focused on Indiana's turnovers. But Clark herself had only 3. So blaming the entire turnover problem on Caitlin would clearly be misleading. The Fever's struggles were a team issue. And that is exactly why some of the criticism aimed at Clark needs to be put into context. A basketball team can lose because of several different things at once. Defensive breakdowns, missed opportunities, second chance points, turnovers, rebounding, free throws, and simply failing to match the opponent's intensity. In this particular game, Indiana struggled in several of those areas. One Fever player even admitted afterwards that the team needed more energy and toughness. The criticism was not necessarily about one individual. It was about the entire team failing to match the desperation of an opponent fighting hard for the win. And that is an important distinction. Still, the biggest conversation online has remained Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White. Some fans believe Clark is frustrated with the way she is being coached. Others believe White has not done enough to protect Clark during physical encounters. And some have questioned why certain fouls involving Clark were not challenged. Those concerns are opinions, however, rather than proof of a fractured relationship. There is also a tendency online to turn every disagreement into a major feud. A player walks away from a coach. They hate each other. A coach doesn't challenge a call. She doesn't support her star. A player looks frustrated. The locker room is falling apart. But real professional sports are rarely that simple. There can be disagreement without hatred. There can be frustration without a broken relationship. And a coach can make a decision that a player doesn't agree with without the two of them having a personal problem. That is why we should be cautious before declaring that Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White are secretly at war. However, there is no denying that the Fever are under enormous pressure. Caitlin Clark's presence has brought unprecedented attention to Indiana. Every game is analyzed. Every foul is discussed. Every coaching decision is scrutinized. Every loss becomes a major talking point. And that pressure affects everyone around the team. The question is whether Indiana can handle it. Because the Fever don't simply need Caitlin Clark to perform. They need the entire organization to function together. They need better defense. They need consistency. They need communication. They need players to trust one another. And they need the coaching staff to make decisions that put the team in the best possible position to win. As for Caitlin Clark, the easiest thing to do would be to focus on the basketball. And that's exactly what she appears to be doing. Regardless of whatever speculation surrounds the team, Clark continues to compete. She continues to create opportunities for her teammates. She continues to attack. And she continues to play through the pressure that comes with being one of the most watched athletes in women's basketball. So, is Caitlin Clark secretly sending us a message about Stephanie White? Maybe fans are seeing something. But right now, there simply isn't enough evidence to confidently say that the two have a serious personal problem. What we have is a tense sideline interaction, a difficult game, frustrated fans, and a huge amount of speculation. And perhaps the most important thing is what happens next. If the Fever start winning consistently, much of this drama will probably disappear. But if the losses continue and the same issues keep appearing, expect these questions to become even louder. Because when you're coaching Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, nothing stays quiet for very long. So now I want to hear from you. Did you see anything unusual in Caitlin Clark's interaction with Stephanie White? Do you believe it was simply a frustrated player needing a moment, or do you think there could genuinely be tension between Clark and her coach? And do you think Stephanie White is doing enough to support Caitlin on the court? Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it with another WNBA fan and subscribe to the channel for more Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever and WNBA stories. Because when it comes to Caitlin Clark, there is always another story waiting around the corner.